Silas Nightstalker Episode 3 The Haunting of Stonefall Village. In the shadowed heart of the ancient forest, where moonlight rarely dared to tread, lay Stonefall Village. Its time-worn cottages huddled together, their thatched roofs sagging under the weight of forgotten secrets. The villagers whispered tales of a beautiful but malevolent ghost, a specter clad in ethereal white, its mournful wails echoing through the twisted trees, haunting all that dared to venture too close to the forest. Her haunting beauty often leading any man that saw her to his doom. It was said that the only thing that could match her beauty was the terror of hearing her howls and wails of pain. Silas Nightstalker, a werewolf cursed by the moon's silver touch, had heard these rumors. With years of experience as both a soldier and bounty hunter, he is perfectly suited for what could be his most dangerous of foes. His lupine senses tingled with anticipation. A bounty hung over the ghost's head, a reward that could free him from his lycanthropic curse. But to hunt a phantom, he needed more than fangs and skill. He sought out the Ghost Hunters Guild, hidden in the labyrinthine alleys of the city. There, amidst dusty scrolls and flickering candles, he met the enigmatic Master Elysia. She bestowed upon him the Ghost Hunter's armor set, armor woven from spectral threads and imbued with the power to protect from even the most chaotic of magical spells. Its helm bore the visage of a vengeful spirit, its eyes aflame with purpose. But armor alone would not suffice. Silas Nightstalker needed a blade, a weapon to sever the ghost's ethereal ties. He journeyed to the forges of the Forgotten, where ancient smiths whispered forgotten incantations and huddled over molten spectral steel, a metal unlike anything found in the land of the living. There, he forged the Soul Reaver blade, its blade shimmering like moonlight on water. When it tasted blood, it would devour the ghost's essence, but if used on ethereal metals would shatter the bond, destroying it. Yet Silas Nightstalker was no fool. He knew that even a werewolf needed allies. And so, he sought out the legendary Stone Bear, a 12-foot-tall, half-giant bear whose skin was hewn from the very mountains. Stone Bear's strength is unlike any that mere mortal men could possess as. Stone Bear's eyes held the weight of eons, and his laughter rumbled like distant thunder. A perfect combination for this hunt. And so Silas journeyed to the home of the great Stone Bear, said to be a fool's errand for sure, but not as foolhardy as fighting this specter alone. On arrival, Silas knocked and proclaimed, "I am Silas Nightstalker, the great bounty hun." With a bellowing yell heard through the village, Stone Bear interrupted. "Silas." Stone Bear boomed, "I have heard of your quest and have awaited your arrival. Come in, great protector. Let us first talk of adventures, share food and ale. Together then, when the sun begins to rise, we shall hunt this ghost. Let the tales be told to future generations of the fight that is soon to come." So as to appease his new ally, Silas entered the home, much too small for a giant, but beloved by its giant tenant. Silas observed a fireplace in the middle of the room. Seated next to it was the giant Stone Bear, who greeted him with open arms. Silas, in an attempt to be humorous, said, "I love what you have done with the place. It is very fitting." To which Stone Bear replied simply by raising his cup of ale. Morning quickly arose after a night of drinking, brawling, and telling tales over a fire, and so, the unlikely duo set forth. Silas Nightstalker, clad in his ghostly armor, and Stone Bear, wielding an axe so massive it could fell ancient oaks. Their footsteps echoed through haunted glades, and the ghost's mournful cries grew louder. They found her a woman in white, her eyes hollow and accusing. She was once a villager, wronged in life, now bound to the forest as a vengeful spirit. Her name lost to time, her rage eternal. Silas Nightstalker, the werewolf with eyes like fire, stood ready for battle. His fur bristled with anticipation, and his breaths came out in misty plumes in the cold night air. Beside him, Stone Bear, a colossal bear, whose hide was as impervious as the rocks he bore his name from, wielded a massive stone axe that seemed to hum with ancient power. They faced their foe, a phantom of such malevolent beauty that it seemed to chill the very air around her. She floated above the ground, her ethereal dress billowing around her like mist, and chains of the same ghostly material rattled, anchoring her to this plane. Her eyes, devoid of warmth, fixed on Silas and Stone Bear with a hatred that had festered for centuries. Silas, clad in armor woven from ethereal threads, felt the protective enchantments repel the phantom's initial magical onslaught. The phantom, in an effort to thwart the attackers, spoke a magical incantation that summoned a small portal behind the two. Out of the portal crawled out horrifying and ghoulish minions that attempted to flank and overwhelm them. Silas raised Wolfsbane, his trusted rifle, and fired a shot that passed through her form, causing her to screech in anger. The shot was not enough to vanquish the foe, but using special ammunition to weaken it. Not far behind, his sword of ethereal steel, the only substance known to break her chains, glinted in the moonlight, ready to strike. True freedom or death. Silas. Stone Bear bellowed. Go to her, break the chains and free her. I will handle the minions. Silas, looking over at Stone Bear, gave only a single nod. The battle raged, a dance of fury and flashes of ethereal light. Stone Bear roared, swinging his axe with such force that it cleaved through the spectral minions summoned by the phantom. Wave after wave and swing after swing, the heavy weight began to exhaust the brave Stone Bear as he fought the minions one by one to create an opening for Silas to attack. Silas moved with the grace of the predator. He was, each shot and slash, a step closer to their goal. As the night wore on, the phantom's resolve wavered, her chains clinking in a frenzied tempo. With a howl that echoed through the forest, Silas leapt, sword in hand, and brought it down upon the chains. The ethereal steel met the ethereal bonds, and a blinding light erupted, illuminating the forest in a spectral glow. When the light faded, the phantom was gone, her chains shattered, leaving behind only the whisper of her departure. As the phantom faded from the plane of the living, and being free from her pain, she looked upon the duo with a tear in her eye and mouthed the words "thank you." Then, placing her hand over her heart, her form faded away into the ether. The spirit was now free, as were the people of Stonefall village. They were to be haunted no more. Silas and Stone Bear stood victorious, their bond as allies only strengthened by the battle they had endured together. The forest was quiet once more, the epic battle now a part of its legend. Weathered, beaten and exhausted, Silas and Stone Bear sat on the forest floor, taking a few moments to rest after the battle. Stone Bear retrieved from his satchel 2 bottles of mead and offered up one to his new friend. The two sat side by side. The battle-hardened brothers needed not speak a single word. The look in each other's eyes spoke volumes as the defeated spirit left a haunting scar on their minds. Back in Stonefall village, the innkeeper greeted them with wide-eyed wonder. The two had performed the impossible. The villagers cheered, their fear replaced by awe. The bounty was paid a chest of silver coins and the promise of free food and ale. Stone Bear agreed. That alone was worth its weight in silver. And so, Silas and Stone Bear sat by the hearth, tankards of ale in hand, and shared ghost stories. The inn's hearth crackled, casting shadows on the walls. The villagers toasted their saviors, and Silas realized that perhaps he'd found more than a bounty, he had found a friend. As dawn painted the sky, Silas and Stone Bear retired to their rooms, bellies full of sandwiches. Ghost sandwiches. They had jestingly called them. The bread was as light as mist, the filling as elusive as a phantom's touch. And as they drifted into sleep, they knew that legends would be sung of their unlikely alliance, the werewolf and the stone-skinned giant, bound by valor and camaraderie. For in Stonefall village, where moonlight rarely dared to tread, heroes were born from shadows, and friendships forged in the crucible of adventure.